we have gotten some drop of mercy from the Vaishnavas, our life is fully blessed and fortunate. In comparison, especially with the multitude of jivas. Very rare to get Vaishnava Sangha that are so intimate with the Lord that they can request Krishna on our behalf. Kave Shri Chaitanya Mole Karibena Daya Kave Vaishnava Pada Chaya Kavyami Aiva Vaishnava Pada Chaya Kavyami Chari Boe Vishaya Samsara Analaite Madhivo Vishram Samsara Analaite Madhivo Vishram Oh Shuniya Amar Dukha Vaishnava Hare
Sangha
Kabe Shri Chaitanya Kori Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. One important thing about this song, which Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is so mercifully giving to us, is that he's first of all saying, when will the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when will he bestow his mercy upon me? And then, for the rest of the song, he's talking about what that mercy will be. So, we often hear that through the mercy of the Vaishnava, one receives the mercy of Krishna, and that's also here in this song. But yet, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, when will Sri Chaitanya bestow his mercy upon me? And then, when will I attain the shade of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas? What does this mean? This means that we are actually attaining the mercy of the Vaishnavas' shade of their lotus feet by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the super soul in everyone's heart, and who is leading us to the Vaishnavas, who is making all the arrangements. Through the Vaishnavas, we will get their compassion, mercy, and they will pray on our behalf to Krishna. But a very important thing about this song is telling what will be our demeanor in approaching Krishna. What will be our mentality that manifests outwardly. When we attain the mercy of the Vaishnavas, they will recognize that we have come to them without duplicity. Nishkapatya. Very essential. So he's saying, by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, then when will that day come? Here the word kabe is being used again and again. And kabe means, what is the meaning of the word kabe? Do you know? When? 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 Our Gurudev told, he mentioned this very word, kabe. And he said, this word is one of the most important words in the Vaishnava's vocabulary.
I remember that.
Yes. Now you're seeing it on black and white. And in many, many, many songs of Narottam Das Thakur and all of our acharyas. When? Why is this an important word? Let us contemplate that. Why is this one of the most important words in the Vaishnava vocabulary, as Gurudev told? We have to know why.
Is it a matter of time before we attain that ultimate goal? But when, though, is the question. When will I stop my wickedness? When will I stop my... When will I take shelter of the Vaishnava? Stuff like that. Like,
yeah, go on.
that's all I got.
It's a feeling of regret that I haven't yet come to that point. So that feeling of regret must be there.
Yeah.
So that one has the mood of asking when.
Within that question asked, not in an opposite way, Oh, when will? It's taking so long. I don't know if I can tolerate this anymore. No. This is, I'm not deserving. This is the mood. I'm actually not deserving. When will I actually become deserving? When will I actually become the qualified person to receive this mercy? I have to do something from my side. I can't just expect, like the kitten, the mother and the kitten philosophy. Right?
The mother cat completely supports the kitten.
How?
By holding it in the back of the neck.
With its mouth.
With its mouth.
Yes.
But it's described that the monkey is obliged.
Right. But the cat just hangs there and doesn't do anything. You see? So on one hand, we really can't do anything because we're so wretched and fallen. But yet, what we're being asked to do, we should do that. If we're really sincere. And even if we're not fully capable to do that, we should try. And then try more. And then try more. And come to some standard. Then we have the right to say, oh, when will it come? Oh, when will it? When we are striving with all of our ability, really trying to give all of our ability to surrender, then we have the right to petition and to express our heart. Oh, when will that day come? You see, not in a demanding way at all. No demand at all. Only when will this mercy come to me? So let's examine what our qualification will have to be. He says, Kabiyam Vishaya Abhiman. Here's Chadibo. Chadibo means to give up, renounce. What am I renouncing? Vishaya Abhiman. What does that mean? No. You have to understand the meaning of the word. Vishaya and then Abhiman.
The enjoyer.
What does Abhiman mean?
The false ego.
Identity there.
Of your identity, who you are. Abhiman, your self-identity. It's like a rich man thinks, I'm a very rich man, Or even a poor man thinks, I'm a very poor man. All these different abhimans, they come about through false ego. But what is the central cause of that Vishaya Abhiman? What is the central cause of this idea that I am the enjoyer, I am the Vishaya, I am the enjoyer?
Yeah, I am my concept.
Yeah, false ego. But it means unwillingness to surrender. Because we know that, first of all, avidya is the cause. Avidya, ignorance. The conditioned souls forget Krishna, then they come into the material world, become covered by avidya, then they begin to act in this way, and life after life they accumulate many different karmas, good and bad. And then they become conditioned like this. But the central root idea is that I'm the enjoyer. You know how Prabhupada used to say, when he would explain this conception to the early devotees in the movement, that our being covered by Maya brings this Vishaya Abhiman, that I'm the Lord of all I survey, and everything here is meant for me to enjoy it. So now he's telling, when will I renounce my identity as the enjoyer, and then Kabe Vishnu Jane Ami Koribe Saman, when will I then honor the Vaishnavas means you can't honor the Vaishnavas properly when you're thinking that you're the enjoyer. So this is really stripping down what we are going to have to do. Each of us individually, no one can do it for you. Yes, you can attend the kirtans and the classes and do your sadhana and all of that. And you're working on that by surrendering to Krishna. But no one else can surrender for you. Can somebody else surrender on your behalf? I'm a rich man, and I'm hiring my lackey who surrenders on my behalf.
Good bow.
Like the kings. They used to have something like that. Or whipping boy. Remember the whipping boys? I'm just remembering that. The kings had their sons. And because the son is a prince, so, you can't whip him, right? So there's a substitute called the whipping boy, and he takes the lashes. Yeah? So no. You get the lashes, and you get the benefit when you surrender. That's it. One time, Srila Gurudev, I remember, and I've repeated this many, many times over the classes, because I love this quote. Told. He says, Sri Guru, he is so kind and merciful. And Sri Guru, he will point out to you that here, this is the path that you should now walk on. Guru does that, correct? He comes, he informs us. Here's the path. And then Gurudev said, Sri Guru, he'll also walk on that path with you, and he'll even hold your hand. So he's pointing out the pathway, and he'll also walk along with you and hold your hand even.
Move your legs forward.
He will not carry you on his shoulders. You will have to walk. Gurudev said it exactly in this way, on your own 2 feet. You will have to walk. So when we grow up a little bit in bhakti, then we understand, I have to become responsible. I've seen so many devotees totally attitude. You can't even call them disciple. But yet, because it's Kali Yuga, and because the jivas are very fallen, and they're very weak, so Sri Guru is also very kind and very forgiving and very merciful. But do you think that this can go on year after year, decade after decade? No. You have to grow up, and you have to now become the association for others. That's the most pleasing. That not only you become an actual disciple, but you go and you bring more conditioned souls. Gurudev, how many times he told? Every single year he would tell this in Braj Mandala Parikrama. Okay, now is the last day of Braj Mandala Parikrama. We've had very good Parikrama. But next year, I want every one of you to bring 2 more people. Increase, increase, increase. This is what Sri Guru is in this world for saving all the jivas. And when a disciple takes responsibility and becomes an actual disciple, practicing bhakti and surrendering, then he now begins to become capable. Without that, it's only pretending. Pretending. External. Full of kapatya. Full of deceitfulness. That's why nishkapatya is used in here. Nishkapatya in the next verse. Let's read that next verse. Galavashtra Kirtanjali Vaishnava Nikate. Now, how am I Vaishnava? I am taking a straw sorry, that's the next line. I am taking a cloth around my neck. You know, this cloth, that's why all brahmacharis always have a chadar around their neck. In ISKCON, they didn't teach this. But in Gaudiya Math, you will not find a single brahmachari or even householder, when they're wearing the devotional dress, that they do not have a cloth around the neck. This is the culture. This is the Vaishnava culture. Because when we come in the presence of the Vaishnavas, the senior, exalted Vaishnavas, we come in this way, with a cloth around the neck, gala vastra and kritanjali, hands folded. And then, dante trinakori, straw in the teeth. This is mentioned many times, straw in the teeth. You know who took a straw in their teeth when they did dandavats to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself? Sanatana Goswami, topmost guru of gurus. He's even the guru of Rupa Goswami, elder brother. He took a straw in his teeth. So the Vaishnava culture is real. It's not pretend. It's real. This is how you should feel. This is how you should become. Galavastra Kritanjali Vaishnava Nikate. I will stand near to the Vaishnava. I will stand before him with this cloth around my neck, my hands folded. And then I will do dandavats with the straw in my teeth. And how will I do this? Last word in this line. Nishkapate. Everyone say this word. Nishkapate.
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 Say this word. Kapatya. Kapatya.
Kapatya.
You know the meaning? Duplicity. Duplicity. Kapatya. And there's another one that goes along with that word. Kutinati. Say that. Kutinati. That means hypocrisy. Those two are very clearly explained in Raghunath Das Goswami's Manasiksha. And there's a whole purport by Bhaktivinoda Thakur describing how Kapatya, this mood of duplicity, how does it manifest in the Vaishnavas? Very interesting. An entire page of 3 different types of Vaishnavas and how duplicity manifests in each one of these. 2 of these types are in household life and 1 is in a renunciate. We can read that sometime. So, when we approach the Vaishnavas, not harboring some false internal moods, but externally showing the opposite, or vice versa. Internally being very duplicitous, but externally showing, oh, I'm Vaishnava. No. This is a very big burden to carry. Duplicity. So when the disciple, when the sadhak can give up this duplicity, only then can he actually make real advancement, as Gurudev told, in the realm of bhakti. Only when duplicity is gone.
And the English version of duplicity that is being referred to here is more what, like an alternate plan, internal, like there's an external show, but the internal mood is different. There's like
different
a different plan,
yes.
Well, different sadhya
Yes.
than the external.
Yeah. Because I was telling in one of the classes that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told what is the quality of a Vaishnava. Like a general quality that you'll find in a Vaishnava. And that is called saralata. Saralata. Saralata, say that.
Saralata.
Saralata means simplicity. Means simplicity. And I told the other day as well that Prabhupada used to say that Krishna consciousness is simple for the simple person, but it's very difficult for the crooked person. And that crookedness is what we have to stop cultivating. Because crookedness is not Vaishnavism. Duplicity, deceitfulness. Actually, the word is also deceitfulness. That's the English word also used in the Manasiksha. Deceitfulness comes from the verb to deceive, right? And when you're deceiving someone, what are you trying to do to that person? Trying to cheat them, right? You may have whatever you're trying to achieve, but you're deceiving, actually. Really, I'm your friend, but I really want to kill you. You know, different levels of deceitfulness, you see. So in the Vaishnavas, there's no deceitfulness. So now, after approaching the Vaishnava, so he's describing, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is describing, at that point, in such a mood, I will be weeping in front of the Vaishnava. Why? Because I'm not hiding anything anymore. Because this is my condition. And kandya means weeping and weeping bitterly. Then, janaibo dukkha gram. Dukkha gram means my miserable life. The miseries that I'm continually undergoing. What do people in the material world try to do all the time? They try to hide everything because it ain't cool, to appear weak, fallen, this, that, right? So everybody's got their front that they show, right? But behind it, everyone is miserably suffering. And they don't want to admit it, that actually I'm a wretched, suffering, miserable person. How are you doing? Oh, good. I'm good. That's replaced the word I'm fine. I'm good. But I ain't good. Not by a very, very long shot am I good. Okay? So, Kandya janaibo dukkha gram. Now, in front of the Vaishnava, like Gurudev, you know what? He would tell. There's a number of pastimes I'm remembering now, where he would tell, you should just come to Guru. And you should just open your heart and admit everything to Guru. Then Guru can work on your heart. But if you don't, and you try to hide it, then that deceitfulness puts a blockade there. You see? I won't mention any name, but one devotee who was in the sannyas order, is in the sannyas order, in a very straightforward and simple way, he told Gurudev, this is like many, many years before. Oh, Gurudev, I'm so plagued by lust. I'm so plagued by lust. And Gurudev said, yes. Now you come to me. By admitting this to me, by revealing your heart to me, now I can remove that lust. I can do that for you. You see? So this is the power of the Vaishnavas in their association. All these kind of bad qualities, they fly away, like when you're clapping. Birds fly away. So, samsara anala hoite magibo vishram. So, in weeping and weeping, I will relay my miseries and my suffering to the Vaishnava. And then I will beg him. I will beg him for relief, Vishram. For relief from what? Samsara anala. That means the blazing fire that I'm being burnt by in this samsara. Is there anyone who's not being burned?
No.
Huh? Are the rich multi-trillionaires not being burned in the samsara? They're all being burned. Very fiercely, fire is burning. Krishna tells that in the Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has told that lust, this thing called lust, it is called the sinful enemy of the world. And it burns like fire. Krishna says that. He knows. Everything is his creation. It's all his energy. He knows. Because of that lust, which means to enjoy separate from Krishna. Very simple. To try to enjoy separate from Krishna. That's called lust. I want to satisfy my senses. So that burns. No one can be happy. I was just remembering a verse today from the Sanatana Siksha, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying about different individuals in this world. He's saying, Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi, Kamis. You know what a Bhukti Kami is? Someone who desires what? Material sense gratification, Bhukti. Even up to the point of going to the heavenly planets. He's a Bhukti Kami. Kami means he has that desire. Bhukti Kami, Mukti Kami. Who is a Mukti Kami?
Desiring liberation.
Impersonal liberation through Gyan. Mukti Kami and Siddhi Kami. Siddhi Kami means someone,
Obstacle powers.
Yes. They're trying to practice the yoga system so they can get siddhis. Why siddhis? To enjoy. It's just lust. Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi, they're all lust. And what does Mahaprabhu say about those three kinds of persons in this world? Sakali ashanta. You know what shanta means? Shanti, shanta?
Peaceful.
Means peaceful. Peaceful. But all of them, they're always ashanta. Always full of anxiety. Prabhupada would say, he would use this word anxiety a lot. Anxiety. So they're full of anxiety because they desire to enjoy separately from Krishna. But then, in the next line he says, Krishna Bhakta Nishkam. Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Atayeva Shanta. The Krishna Bhakta is Nishkam. He doesn't desire anything separate from Krishna. Nothing. Not one iota, one speck. Everything for Krishna. Whatever he's doing it for Krishna's benefit, ultimately. You see? So, Krishna Bhaktas, they don't try to enjoy separately from Krishna. They follow the instructions of the Shastras, of the Sadhus, of Guru, and they live their lives in a very happy way in this world. You know why? Because they're Atayeva Shanta. They're always undisturbed, peaceful. All the other persons chasing. But the Vaishnava not chasing anything. Only he's trying to serve. He's in the land of dedication. Srila Sridhar Maharaj said this material world is the land of exploitation. Exploitation. This is the whole land of exploitation, and each individual is an exploiting unit, he said. Each one is trying to take, exploiting unit of consciousness. And what's the opposite of the land of exploitation? The land of renunciation. Bhog, tyag, tick, tock, tick, tock. Yes, this is the example given. Whenever you are trying to enjoy in the material world, and then you become frustrated because lust leads to what? Let's examine. This is a very analytical class today. Let's examine. What does Krishna say? How this happens to each one of us. What is the sequence that has to take place? First of all, contemplating. Dhyayato. Dhyayato means to think about. Dhyayato vishaya pungsam. So, by thinking about the vishaya, the thing that you want, whatever it may be. I want this, I want this, I want this. So first of all, you start thinking about it. And then what happens? Next step. Sangas teshu upajayate. Yes. Attachment develops. If you didn't start to contemplate that with lust, then you wouldn't go to the next step. But because all of these previously mentioned individuals are trying to obtain for their own enjoyment, therefore, they immediately become attached. And now, sangas teshu pajayate, sangat sanjayate kama. The third installment is from that attachment, contemplate, attachment, then comes lust. And when lust comes, it's hard. It's hard to have that subside when lust comes. Because calm, motive passion. I want it, I'm going to get it. So, lust comes. Then, kama krodha abhijayate. Anger comes now. Frustration and anger. And guaranteed that when you've gotten very angry about something, you can guarantee that you've gone through this sequence. And here's now the result. Unless it's anger against those who are blaspheming the Vaishnavas like that, that's different. That's a spiritual anger to defend the pure devotees, to defeat the atheist non-devotees who are blaspheming the Lord. That's a different kind of anger. That's the Hanuman kind of anger, okay? When Hanuman was brought to Lanka, Prabhupada used this as example. Did they try to set his tail on fire? What did he do? He expanded himself and then he went and burned down the entire city. I mean, you got to be pretty angry. And Hanuman was angry for Lord Ram. This is righteous anger. But it's never righteous when it's for our own sense gratification. No. So, now that the lust has come, and now, why does the anger come? Why does the anger come from the lust? Because guess what? You can't have it. What you're all dreaming of and contemplating and desiring and everything, it's not going to happen. It may happen momentarily, but then right after that comes anger. Why are there so many murders? What do you call them? Yeah. I've heard that according to police reports, this is the #1 cause of people murdering people. And what is that? Well, it means that in that relationship, there was something that happened that they're not satisfying one another's senses, or they may even have done something like that, which is like, no, this, I'm not going to take this. Where is my gun? You see? Because it's extreme lust has been there. And then there's been extreme frustration of that lust. And now, no. Sometimes I remember Gaur Govinda Maharaj. He would sometimes give classes. His disciples told me. He would read some article from the newspaper. Oh, such and such person. They were married. They had children. But then the woman was not faithful. And then the man came and he shot the woman and shot himself. Yes. And then Gaur Govinda Maharaj is explaining, why is this? Because of lust. I, me, mine. So that will not work. There's no happiness there. Cannot be. Only in following the instructions of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra can we be peaceful and happy. Striving to please them. Your senses will automatically get pleased because it's not just some kind of analogy. It's real. That Krishna, he's the root of the tree. And if you pour water on the root of the tree, well, it goes to the whole tree. So you want to become happy? There is no other way. You want to become fed because we're like the leaves and so forth of the tree. So the only way that we can really be nourished in the land of happiness and satisfaction is by pouring water on the root of the tree. And that's called the land of dedication. Srila Sridhar Maharaj says, in this world, happily and peacefully, by being dedicated. Dedicated means for Krishna's sake, for others. So then after anger, krodha bhavati sammoha. Now it goes even deeper. Sammoha means complete bewilderment. Moha, sammoha. Complete, sammoha. Sammohat smriti vibhrama. And when sammohat, someone is bewildered, then smriti vibhrama. Then their intelligence and their thinking capacity, their memory, it becomes all completely distorted and mangled. Yeah? Sammoha smriti vibhrama. Vibhrama means extreme illusion. And then smriti brahmshad buddhi nasho. When the memory is disturbed like that, memory is now completely bewildered, then what happens? Now your intelligence is destroyed. Your intelligence, nasha. Buddhi, nasha. Nasha means destroyed. And then the final installment, buddhi nashat pranashyati. Pranashyati means, Prabhupada translates it as falls down into the what? Material whirlpool that drags you down. So this is coming from the Supreme Lord Krishna himself, who's telling that this is the condition in this world. Don't go there. From the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin called lust. From the very beginning, when it comes, curb it. And call out to the great Vaishnavas, save me, I'm being plundered. That's the example given in the Manasiksha. That on the open road, there are dacoits who assail the person coming on the road. They come and attack, and they plunder him. That's what's going on with this kapatya, kutinati, plundering our spiritual wealth. So, he's telling, crying and weeping, I will relate to the Vaishnava all my miseries, and then I will beg for relief at his lotus feet from the blazing fire of material existence. And this begging, it has to be honest. Not that, I want some relief, please give me relief. And then when you feel some relief, okay, now I can go and enjoy some more. No, that will not work. Now, Shunya Amar Dukkha Vaishnava Thakur. When the Venerable Vaishnavas hear of my sufferings, they will appeal to Sri Krishna profusely on my behalf. Amalagi Krishna Avedibena Prachur. They are praying on our behalf. And then Krishna, in response to the Vaishnava's prayers, the all-merciful Sri Krishna, Krishna Doyamoy, he will become compassionate upon this wicked person. Eheno Pamara Prati. Pamara means very wicked. Eheno Pamara Prati Hoben Sodoi. He will give his mercy. So, Vinodera Nivedana Vaishnava Charani. Bhaktivinoda prays to the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas. Kripa Kori Sange Loho Eya Kinchani. Be merciful and take this destitute person into your association. Good song, good instructions, yes. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gaura Murgan Hari Hari Shri Shri Radha Govinda Ji Ki Jai. Now, this is just kind of like a spontaneous class today. And there's one thing that I wanted to read. Actually, there's more than one thing that I wanted to read. But I just wanted to read this quote because I've been meaning to read it for some time now. Where is it? Okay, here it is. This is a quotation from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, one of his articles, but it's an extract from one of his articles. And I thought that it's so pertinent to our situation in this world. Now, the topic of this, I was mentioning to Rishabdev Prabhu the other day, the topic is when we start to think that we are going to cause some major reform. We become a reformer, like political reformer, social reformer, or we just try to play this role that I'm going to reform this person. I'm going to see that this justice is going to come to such and such a person, right? Reform is not going well, so I'm going to make it go well. So there's a very interesting, quite amazing outlook that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur presents. What is the real vision? Can somebody really become a reformer? Can they reform the world? Can they change the course of events of this world? Nowadays, there's a lot of great desire that people are expressing everywhere. We want change. We're going to change. We want change. Such and such lives, this, that. Justice. There's been an injustice for so long. injustice, injustice. So, when you hear this, very concise, yeah? Very concise. He puts this into perfect perspective for each and every one of us in this material world. So he says, the world stands in no need of any reformer. Oh, the world is in great need. We have to reform. We have to do this. We have to do that. No. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, the world stands in no need of any reformer. Why? As a very competent person for guiding its minutest happenings. Who is that? Competent person for guiding the minutest happenings. Everything that's going on in this world. Who's that person? Krishna. 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 Huh?
Paramatma.
Well, in any of his aspects. He's the whole stage. He's the person who is affecting everything. So, the world stands in no need of any reformer. The world has a very competent person for guiding its minutest happenings. Oh, but the person who determines that there is a scope for reform of the world, that person who is determining that there is a scope for reform of the world, himself, that person himself, he stands in very great need of reform. The reformer, the would-be reformer, he himself stands in very great need of reform. The world, it goes on. The world goes on in its own perfect way. Perfect. The world goes on in its own perfect way. No person can deflect it even a breadth of a hair from the course chalked out for it by providence. No one, even a breath of a hair. No person can deflect it, even the breath of a hair from the course chalked out for it by providence. Who is providence? Krishna. Krishna. He is the supreme providence, the supreme will. When we perceive any change being actually effected in the course of events of this world, of any particular individual, we must know very that the agent, he possesses no real power at any stage. Oh, I'm going to cause this great reform. But what's actually happening? No. The agent who's thinking in this way, he finds himself driven forward. He finds himself driven forward by a force belonging to a different category from himself, in other words. Who's causing that agent to feel that he has to do such and such? It's a different force than himself. So that agent, he possesses no real power at any stage. Why? Because when we perceive any change being actually affected in the course of events of this world by the agency of any particular individual, we must know very well that the agent possesses no real power at any stage. The agent finds himself driven forward by a force belonging to a different category from himself. The course of the world does not require to be changed by the agency of any person. What is necessary is to change our outlook on this world. That is what is necessary. To change our outlook on this world. This was done for the contemporary generation by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya. It can only be known to the recipients of his mercy. The scriptures declare that it is only necessary to listen with an open mind to the name of the lips of a bona fide devotee. And as soon as Krishna enters the listening ear, he clears up the vision of the listener so that he no longer has any ambition of ever acting the part of a reformer of any other person, because he finds that nobody is left without the very highest guidance. It is therefore his own reform by the grace of God, whose supreme necessity and nature he is increasingly able to realize by the eternally continuing mercy of the Supreme Lord. It is therefore his own reform by the grace of God, whose supreme necessity and nature he is increasingly able to realize by the eternally continuing mercy of the Supreme Lord. Ever heard that one before? Rishabh Prabhu heard. Any of you heard this one before?
I heard Gurudev say that we shouldn't focus on anything other than ourselves.
Right,
No,
that's true. But I'm saying this particular quote, no, very complete. What is necessary is our own reform and our own vision to be cleared up. That's what's necessary. And by the agency of the pure Vaishnava and chanting the pure name of Krishna, then all this will be cleared up. And nobody will ever again think that he has to become the reformer. Because actually, is everything not going on by the complete, perfect will of Krishna? The minutest, as he says, the minutest happenings. Everything. And there's no person who can ever deflect even the breadth of a hair from the course that has already been set for everything. So when we find ourselves as actors, we have to accomplish such and such, we have our various duties to perform, we should never think that it is by our power, by our great intelligence, that this is being done. No. Krishna is doing everything. We are simply being used as agents, that's all. But the point is that we should not think that in this material world that we can really become the reformer. No. Yes?
Well, everything is ordained by providence, and the amount of endeavor and accomplishment we have in our endeavors is fixed in a way. So how is extraneous endeavor going to accomplish something that's not set in the course of providence?
Say that again.
That by some Herculean effort, I'm going to be able to change my course and do something that's outside of what providence has in store for me due to my previous actions.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's the question?
Question is, why do I feel like I'm the doer?
Oh, that's a simple question answered by Krishna in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita. Kartaham iti manyate. Third chapter. Third or fifth chapter, I forget. That the conditioned soul is thinking that he is the doer. Kartaham iti manyate. But in actuality, everything's being carried out by the three modes of material nature. And the Vaishnava should understand that Krishna is the doer. He is the karta. Krishna also says, I am the karta. And everything, all the atomic particles, everything from the tiniest little atomic particle up to the entire cosmic manifestation is fully under his control, under his will. There's a whole perfect system for everything. The jivas are playing within this realm of action and reaction. From the highest planets all the way down to the lowest. And in this world, the freedom has been given to the living entities that if they want to be opposed to the Supreme Controller and deny his existence even, they have the freedom to do that, but they will have to get the result of their actions. So the Vaishnavas, they're not feeling themselves to be capable of changing, of effecting changes. If they become, in any particular situation, an agent, they never think that I'm doing that. Krishna is doing it. Krishna is arranging. I'm not arranging anything. But the problem is the false ego is thinking, I am the doer. So that has to be changed. This discussion today is about changing that and admitting the truth. Yeah.
So along the lines of what he's speaking, in my speculating this, but it was said in the previous class years even that there's unseen guardians, right? So these guardians, am I to understand that these guardians influence us and so we're sort of in a soup of inspirations in a way. There's unseen forces. If we're not taking shelter, there are seeding thoughts, and like we think we're the generators of these thoughts. Were like is in Vedic culture, was part of where Buddhism got the whole idea to not own the thoughts, and sort of to empty the self.
Simplify your question.
The question is like, are we supposed to understand that factually we're not the doers because actually we're not generating thoughts? In a sense that we're more receiving these inspirations depending upon the masters we're serving and the shelter we're taking. So if we're taking shelter of the material energy in the material world versus taking shelter of Gurudev and the guardians, then that we naturally have a propensity to think we're the doer because we're owning we're relating with the body as a self and owning the thoughts of the mind as if this is ourself. Is that the reason? Is that at the core of the reason why we think we're the doer?
There's too many different parts of the question.
It's a very complex issue.
Yeah, so I'm saying simplify. Simplify the question. What's the actual question?
The question is, are we thinking we're the doers because we're under the influence of unseen forces and being deluded to think this is our thought and we must do this, and so we do this based upon our thought, so we did it.
Yeah, we did it. I am the doer. I am doing. But what is the question about it?
If the planets go around and they make us feel a certain way, like puppet string, and I feel a certain way, I do something, and I think that I was the one that had the feelings and did the things.
Yeah, it's identification essentially is what I'm asking, right?
Well, that's the problem. Everything is abhiman. We right in the beginning of this class, Vishaya Abhiman means self-conception, identification. That's the root cause. That has to be given up if we want freedom from the suffering of this material world, because we are acting. We are acting, but we're not the actual doers. It is our desire. I desire to enjoy separately from Krishna. That's the root cause. Okay? Now when you speak of forces, yes, people are being thrown here and there by the modes of material nature. Sometimes mode of ignorance, mode of passion, sometimes mode of goodness. It's always intermingling. This is a study of the Bhagavad Gita to understand the mechanics of the material world and action and reaction and everything. You have to study the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna clarifies everything there. And how ultimately Daivihesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. This whole material existence made from the three modes of material nature is difficult, extremely difficult to overcome this. Mama Maya, because it's my divine energy and my Daivi Gunamayi, my energy. But then Krishna says, Mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. That means that those persons who will surrender to me, then very easily they'll be able to cross over my Maya. That's Krishna's power that he gives to the surrendered souls. No one can defeat Krishna's Maya and cross beyond without surrendering to Krishna. Everyone will be forced to act. The whole philosophy of being forced to act is very clearly described by Krishna in the Gita, especially when he's telling Arjuna, who is not willing in the beginning to engage in what Krishna wants him to do. He's thinking, oh, well, this is not moral principles. I cannot break these dharmas. He's all concerned about this dharma, this dharma, this dharma. He, through the entire lesson of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has fully explained the entire truth, even revealed to him his universal form, that this is already happening. All these soldiers are already killed. You cannot do anything. You can only become the instrument. That is the freedom that you have, to become the instrument. But in the universal form, they're already being killed. And then he also tells Arjuna that, Arjuna, you're a Kshatriya. That's your nature according to the modes in this world. And you have your duty as a Kshatriya to fight. But if you don't do this and you try to retire from the battlefield and live by begging this, that, you will be forced to act anyway because it's your nature. So now I want that you will follow your nature for my sake, that you will surrender to accomplish what I want you to do, and then you will reach perfection. And at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also states that all the living entities, by following their nature and completely surrendering to the Lord within their heart and acting for him, they can all attain perfection, Krishna says. So therefore, sarva dharman parityajya. Give up all your other dharmas and only take one dharma. Mam ekam sharanam praja. Full surrender to me. That's all. Krishna does not leave any scope there. No scope. Only 100% you surrender to me. and then everything will be arranged by me. You will be protected. You're worried about sinful reaction, this, that. No, no, no. Don't worry. Ma shuchaha. You will have nothing to fear. You'll have nothing to worry about. Because I will protect you. You see? So this is what each and every one of us needs to do. And the Bhagavad Gita should be very carefully studied by every single devotee. I know there are many, many devotees, especially in this Sangha, who have not read Bhagavad Gita thoroughly, who have not digested it, who have not studied it in sequence. How do we expect that we're going to be able to surrender to Krishna unless we take into our intelligence what Krishna has come to speak for the entire Kali Yuga? This message is for the jivas in the Kali Yuga. He has made everything very simple and very clear. He's taken the essence of all the philosophy of the entire Vedas, Vedanta, everything. And he is, in his one conversation, he has given everything that we need to know. And from there, we go to Srimad Bhagavatam. So, when somebody's intelligence comes out of, as Krishna says, the forest of delusion, your intelligence is in the forest of delusion, then you will become aloof from so many different philosophical conceptions, and you will enter into the essence of continual, non-stop dedication to Krishna for his sake.
So then the answer is Vishaya Abhiman.
Yes, but you can't give up something without taking something.
Yeah.
You can't just do negative. I'm going to give this up. I'm not going to be controlled by this. And blah, blah, blah. No, you have to do the positive dedication. Why am I giving up the Vishaya Abhiman? Yes, I understand that this is good for me to give this up. It will reduce the amount of suffering that I'm undergoing. But ultimately, it has to be for Krishna that we're acting. That's what leads us there, to bhakti.
Acting, not doing.
But anyway, whether you're using the term acting or using the term doing, you have to do bhakti. You have to do bhakti to Krishna. Bhakti is the only solution. There is no other solution. Every other solution is only partial, or to lead you gradually to that. And that's why Krishna finally says, just give all the other duties up and surrender to me only. Ekam. The word ekam means one, to me alone, no one else. And then I will protect you. So that's the beginning of actual bhakti. Without surrender, there cannot be bhakti. And without bhakti, we can never attain anything really in the realm of the transcendental relationship with the Supreme, because it's only established through bhakti. You had a question?
No, more like a comment, but you said something really beautiful about how Krishna said to Arjuna, everybody's already dead.
Yes.
Your freedom lies within, I guess.
To become the instrument.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Nimitra matram bhavasavya sachin. Krishna tells to Arjuna, you become the instrument. Nimitta matram. You become the instrument. Now you have seen. I've shown you that everyone on this battlefield are rushing into the mouths of the universal form. They're all being destroyed. And who is that destroyer? Me. He says, Mrityu sarvaharash chaham. I am all-devouring death. Nothing can happen. No living entities can die or live without the control of the Supreme Lord. I have ordained that these persons, they will have to die. Because I want to install the Pandavas as the righteous rulers of the entire planet for the benefit of all living entities. And in the course of this battle, even those soldiers who are dying, they will be elevated to the heavenly planets. They're performing their duties as Kshatriyas. So, this is our freedom. Our freedom that Krishna has to act as the instrument or to act for our own enjoyment. That's the decision that we have to make in our lives. And we have to identify, I am a devotee. I'm not an ordinary soul in this world who's been rotating. I have come by the mercy of Krishna and Guru to this pathway of pure bhakti. In the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I have a very, very great responsibility in this life to attain perfection. Like Mahaprabhu said, Janma sarta kori koropara upakar. Two things Mahaprabhu told. First, make your life perfect. Janma sarta kori. You become pure devotee. And koropara upakar. As you're trying to become a pure devotee, you help others also. Upakar means benefit, like welfare work. You try to do welfare for all others. You try to help them. But first you have to help yourself. You become pure. Doesn't mean that you don't tell anyone about Krishna until you've become a fully realized pure devotee. No. From day one, you start following that order of Mahaprabhu. You attain this benefit. And the more you attain this benefit, you'll realize how much these conditioned souls have to be given. And I have to try to help them get this benefit. And when Guru sees this and Krishna sees this, they become completely pleased and they bless. So now time has gone. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Shri Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai, Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Gaur Premanandi, Vancha Kalpatarusha Kripa Sindhu Vacha, Patitana Go Vaishnavi Go Namo